Hello, language warriors. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening once again. Hi. Welcome to my class stream. This is called The Lost Art of the Introduction. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about this. This is what we're going to talk about. Introducing yourself. If you don't know how to introduce yourself, you're not going to get very far in life. All right? So that's what we're going to talk about today in a few minutes. Hello, Hasanka. Hello, Kiki. Hello, Hachi. Hello, Lucas. And Sarah. Hello, Sala. 我会说可是现在没有 All right. Well, let's talk about this for a minute first. Why am I having this stream? Why am I having this stream? Why am I teaching this class today? Anyone? Yes, Kiki, to learn introductions, but why? Why would I teach you that? Why is that important? Linda 我是美国人 I am teaching introductions today because I think that most people don't introduce themselves well today. 90%. 90% of people don't introduce themselves well. That's why we're going to talk about it today. Now, how could it be possible that 90% of people don't introduce themselves well? How is that possible? Why do I say that? There's one very simple reason. Today, most people that you meet on the internet, and you don't know how to introduce yourself on the internet. So, maybe you know how to introduce yourself well in person. Maybe. But when I am on here, I see people who don't introduce themselves well all the time. Khan says there's so much to unpack about yourself. What do you actually include in your introduction? Okay, that's a fair question and a good question. So, Khan, An introduction is not always just about what you say. Introductions are themselves important. Just the fact that you're trying to introduce yourself to someone is a form of polite interaction. So instead of saying, just, I want this, I need this thing, I don't know you, but I need this thing. Instead of doing that, you introduce yourself, and now you have established that you want to present yourself well to someone. If you tell someone, oh, look, this person wants to present themselves well to me, now that person's going to pay attention to you. But if you don't take the time to want to present yourself well, then why should anyone want to talk to you? Okay? So, what you say in your introduction is not always the most important thing. Introducing yourself, period, is, and how you present yourself when you introduce yourself is important. Your body language. How do you seem? Are you impatient? Are you respectful? Are you do you seem distracted, or do you seem calmly interested? How you present yourself to someone is part of your introduction. Okay? So, when I say 90% of people don't introduce themselves well, what I mean is, yeah, we live in an internet world. We live in an internet generation. And because we live in an internet generation, that's why people have lost the art of introducing yourself well. But the value of introducing yourself well has not gone down. If anything, the value of a proper introduction has gone up. But people just don't do it well. So the value of a good introduction is worth more now than ever before. But just so few people do it. So few people do it. If you introduce yourself well, you start well. If you don't introduce yourself well, then you probably don't start well. It's that simple. Okay? So we're talking about introductions, everyone. We're talking about how important it is to introduce yourself to someone when you meet them. Okay? It doesn't matter if they're on the internet. It doesn't matter if they're on the internet. They are still a human being. So the rules of human beings still apply. You should introduce yourself to someone if you don't know them. Even on my live stream. Even on my live stream. If I have not talked to you before, you should write a short little introduction and say, "Hello, Teacher Mark. It's a pleasure to be in your class. My name is blah, blah, blah." You can write that. I know they don't let you write a lot in these, but you could write that. You could do two. You could say, "Hello, Teacher Mark. My name is blah, blah, blah. I'm from blah, blah, blah. It's a pleasure to be in your class. If it doesn't fit in one, then do it in two. Is that really hard? No, it's not. But almost no one does it. I know. This is supposed to be some kind of a format where you don't have to introduce yourself on live streams, on class streams like this. You don't have to introduce yourself. You're just a random person. No, I'm sorry, but no. Even on the internet and even in a live stream, you still should introduce yourself. There you go. Zizzo did it. That's perfect, Zizzo. Hi, teacher. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm from blah, blah, blah. That's perfect. Thank you, Zizzo. And there we go. My friend from Russia, who I think, what is that? It's not Anna, is it? I don't know how to read Cyrillic, but Privyet, my Russian friend, and thank you for coming and watching. See, look, there's Jakob. Now I know Jakob. Jakob said, hello, Teacher Mark, I'm Jakob. I'm a regular student here. I like your personality and accent. Thank you, Jakob. Now I know who you are. And now, if you talk to me, I will be more interested to talk to you. Okay? That's a fact. I will remember him now because he did a proper introduction. That's simple. Okay? Sedef, I know you because I've seen you in my class a lot, but you haven't introduced yourself yet, so you should. Tanya says, I seldom introduce myself. I just say something like, my tarot cards say we could be friends. But Tanya, that is a form of introduction. That is your own way of breaking the ice to tell somebody that you would like to be friends. So that's another way to introduce yourself, and that's a very creative way. So that's still an introduction. Ah, Layla. I'm sorry. Nice to meet you, Layla. Yes, this is my music room. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. Let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Teacher Mark. I live in the United States in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's in the middle of the United States. It's a fairly small city compared to big cities like Beijing or New York. I am a musician. I'm a drummer. I've been playing drums for many years, more than 30 years. I am also a teacher. And what do I like to do for fun? I love to cook. I'm a great cook. I like to go hiking and fishing and camping and gardening or anything with plants. There is an introduction. Now you know a bit about me. I'm telling you, a proper introduction is worth gold. If you don't introduce yourself well, then you might as well slap someone in the face when you meet them. Hi! So we've got another Adam here. Adam says, hello, Teacher Mark. Adam, I could tell you the difference between a topic sentence and a sports sentence if that were the topic today, but that's not the topic today. You're welcome to join our topic. Our topic is about introductions. That's what I'm teaching about. I feel like I also should teach another class about how you shouldn't join a live stream if you don't know what the stream is about. Hello, Ray from Iran. You're here to learn new things and improve your English. Great. See? Simple introduction. Have I tried Arabic food? Some. But we're talking about introductions. Mies Ali. So, talk about introductions. Introduce yourself to me. Hello, Adam, my good friend. You're a human being. You're interested in philosophy, history, geography, and language. Well done. So Mies, are you trying to use that as your introduction? So, if you want to use a question like that, that's a good question, but you still need to say something to introduce yourself. So you should say, if you see somebody, maybe, in your city, hello, my name is Mies. I was just curious, have you ever tried any Arabic food before? Perhaps I could buy something for you to try. It would be my pleasure. That is a way you could use that as your introduction. But you still need to say, hello, my name is. In almost every situation, you need to say, hello, my name is. Okay? Hello, Basir from Turkey. Thank you very much for your introduction. Hello, Mila. Hello, Alex. Hello, Emma, who is Chinese but lives in Thailand now. Can I share a typical bad introduction experience in my life? That's a good question. Let me think about that for a minute. Jakob, I can't think of any real situations that I have been in where I haven't introduced myself well that I can think of. I mean, maybe there are, but I can't think of any. Because I am pretty good about introducing myself to people. This is something that I don't think school teaches us this. My parents taught us this. My mom taught me that if you meet someone, you must introduce yourself. She taught me that if you meet someone, put your hand out and say hello and say, my name is blah, blah, blah. Nice to meet you. Okay, so this is something that my parents taught me. And because of that, I think that most of my life I've been okay. Anytime I need to introduce myself, I can. But thank you for that question, Jakob. That's a good question. Hello, Nadir. Fluke is asking about weakness points. Why would a new person ask you about your weakness points? Do you mean in a job interview, Fluke? What are other ways to say our name? Well, that depends on you. That depends on you. You could, if your name is Nastaron, you could say, hello, my name is Nastaron. You can call me Nastaron. Or maybe you've got a nickname. Maybe your friends call you Nast or something. You could say, hello, my name is Nastaron, but you can call me Nast. You could say, you could introduce yourself as Mr. or Mrs. depending on your preference. Meaning, if you want to be more formal when you meet someone, then you could introduce yourself in a formal way, right? So if I meet somebody and I say, you know, hello, Mr. Smith, it's nice to meet you. You could, you know, it's in most cases in America, I think we would probably just tell people that you can call me by my first name. But for example, my father is a psychologist, so people call him Dr. Sampson, not Mr. Sampson. So most of the time, you know, he'll introduce himself as Dr. Paul Sampson. Hello, Ibrahim and Neves. Hello, Siham from Morocco. Hello. I hope things are improving in Morocco. I'm still so, you know, I read the articles about what happened there, and it's very terrible. So I do hope things get better soon. I know those words are weak, but what can you say in such a terrible situation? Abdul Rahman says, hello, teacher. My name is Abdul Rahman. Have you ever visited Egypt before? Okay, that's a pretty good introduction. However, Abdul Rahman, I think I would include that you are from Egypt. So you could say, hello, teacher. My name is Abdul Rahman. I'm from Cairo. Have you ever visited Egypt before? I'm from Cairo, Egypt. Have you ever visited Egypt before? You know, include one piece of information about yourself. Usually we include where we are from. Sometimes we include our job. Ali, yes, that is correct. Linda says, hello, Teacher Mark. I'm Linda. I like playing badminton and swimming. Okay, that's good, Linda. That's good. But, Linda, I think that it would be better if you included a couple of more important pieces of information first, right? If you tell people what you like to do for fun, that's great. That's great. But you should probably start with some more basic information. Hello, Teacher Mark. I'm Linda. I'm from Shanghai. Or, hello, Teacher Mark. I'm Linda. I work in Beijing as an accountant. Then you could say, I like playing badminton and swimming. Okay, so Linda, if you're going to make an introduction, say your name, and then you need at least one good piece of information about yourself. But it has to be an important piece of information. Where are you from? What do you do? And then, if you want to tell them something more about yourself, then you can say something like your hobbies or interests. Okay? Thank you very much, Kiki. You're always so sweet. Thank you very much. Hello, Enya. I like your name. She makes good music. She lives in Shenzhen. I love reading and hiking and philosophy, physics, and art. Okay, good. But, Enya, you can put all of those into one sentence. You could say, so one sentence, you could say, hi, Mark, I'm Enya. I live in Shenzhen. Then you could say, I love reading, hiking, philosophy, physics, and art. You only need one and, okay? 如果你要说很多的东西，后面你可以用那个一个 and, one and, okay? 不需要很多的。Hello, YJ. YJ is a cat mom, and you have one cat, and he's your treasure. Okay, that's good. And again, YJ, that's a good introduction, but it would be a little bit better if you included at least one important piece of information about yourself. So, hi, I'm YJ. I live in Seoul, if you're from Seoul. And I'm a cat mom, and I have one cat, and he's my treasure. Okay? Now, everybody, look, here's a perfect example. Your introduction, let me tell you how a musician looks at this. Wait a minute, and listen to me. This is important. Listen. When you're a musician, the first note you play is the most important note you play. If you get that one wrong, then it doesn't really matter. The rest of your performance is not going to be good. The first note you play when you start a song has to be good, has to be strong, has to be solid. That's your introduction, everyone. Your introduction is the first music that people hear from you. Make it good. It's the first music they hear from you. Make it good. Practice it. Make it good. Think about your body language. Make it good. Think about what you're going to say. Prepare it. Rehearse it. Consider it. Your introduction is the first music that people hear from you. Make it good. Make it good music. Okay? All right, let me go back and see. I think I missed some introductions. Hello, Safa. Safa studies at the Faculty of Arts, and I'm specializing in English translation. Okay, that's good, Safa. That's very good. But I don't know where the Faculty of Arts is. So you should say, hello, my name is Safa. I'm from blah, 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 where I study at the Faculty of Arts, and I am specializing in English translation. Okay, so include where you are from in that introduction. Okay? And yeah, Flash says everything is fine now. I'm glad to hear that you think so. That's good. I'm glad. And also Libya too. I know it's also terrible in Libya. I don't know if I have any Libyan friends in the audience here, but yeah. And Neves is introducing himself or herself. I can't see the picture well enough to everyone. And that's good too. Hello, everyone. Tomazia from Luanda, Angola. So Tomazia. That's a pretty name. It's a cool name. I like that name. Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you. My name is Reza. I am from Iran. I am knocking on 33. That's good. I like that. I'm an electrical engineer. Good. You been at the grocery store with your little pirates? Guten Tag, Gunther. Schöner Tag in Berlin. Nice. That's right, Kosti. You need to give people a good impression of you. And your introduction is that impression. Okay? But I think it's really good to think about your introduction like music. Because if you want music to sound good, you have to practice that, right? So, your introduction is your music. Practice it. Practice it. It's the thing that is... Let me put it to you this way. A good introduction is a key to life. If you have a good introduction, your key will get you in many, many, many doors. If you don't have a good introduction, those doors will not be open for you. Okay? Hello, Fatima from Iran. Hello, Ola from Egypt. Hello from Romania. Thank you. Yes, I eat spicy food. Hello, Masa. I am Jordanian, but Palestinian by blood. I am a student and also a teacher. Good for you. That's a good introduction, Masa. Good. YJ says, my name is YJ. I am from South Korea. I am here for studying English. Let's study English together. Okay, that's pretty good. Simple enough. You said where you're from and what your name is. So those are the most important things. And that you want to study English. That's good too. Okay? You just fixed the carburetor on a Briggs & Stratton motor, huh? Hello, Adam. Privyet. Do I have any other Romanian people here? Yes, I do. There are some, sure. Yeah. Should you introduce yourself? Sure, Belen. Why not? Introduce yourself. Sophia says, I am Sophia from China. I like to explore the world by learning English and traveling. Okay, yeah. So, look. Tina asked me a question. Tina, you want to know if I like hot pot. Tina, if you want to know if I like hot pot, you should start by saying, "Hi, my name is Tina. I'm from China. Do you like hot pot?" That's all you need to do. If you say that, now I feel like you care to introduce yourself to me. Hot pot, everyone. Hot pot is a kind of food in Asia, very, very, very popular in China. It basically is a big pot that you can turn the burner on to make it hot, and you cook your food in there in like a soup. So you can cook whatever you want in there. It's kind of like self-cooking buffet. It's fun and yummy. Actually, I'm planning to go to the Asian market maybe tomorrow, because I want to make some hot pot at home. Reza says you should talk about your name, your age, your location, your work experience, your study habits, or your great dreams. That's pretty good, Reza. Yeah. I think that in the beginning, you just really need your name, age, and location. Those are the most important ones. And then it depends on your purpose, right? If you're talking about a job, maybe if you're introducing yourself to your boss or a coworker, then you should say what your position is, or you should say, if you're talking about work with some other people, then you should introduce yourself and talk about your job, right? If you're at school, then you should talk about your study habits. If you are talking with people about interests and hobbies, then you should mention your interests and hobbies. So your introduction is going to change depending on who you're talking to. Okay? A basic introduction is just, "Hello, my name is Mark. I'm from blah, blah, blah. Nice to meet you." That's very simple, right? "I'm Mark. I'm from the United States. Nice to meet you." Okay? But if I'm in business, "Hello, my name is Mark. I'm from the United States. I'm an English teacher. Nice to meet you." If I'm talking with people, maybe I'm at the park and I hear some people and they're talking about reading or a movie. Maybe I'll say, "Hello, my name is Mark. I'm from the United States. I like that movie too." Or "I like movies too." Okay, so your introduction is going to change depending on who you are talking to. Okay? I don't think it's a good idea to try to prepare one introduction that you use for everyone, because then it sounds fake. It sounds like you're just a recording. So don't be a recording. No. Your introduction needs to change a little bit depending on who you're talking to. All right? Hello, Marlena from France. You're 60 years old and you've been retired for 1 year. Okay. Ooh, there's a good introduction. "Hello, it's Belen. I'm from Spain. I enjoy life while learning new languages and cultures." Now, that's a good introduction to use here on Hello Talk. Right? That's what I mean. That's a proper introduction for Hello Talk. Okay? You were a proofreader for 35 years previously, and then a sales assistant for 7 years. Okay. Tina, you could say, hi, I'm Tina, I'm from China, I'm into traveling and photography. Okay, good. She said, I'm into something. If you guys don't know, when you say, I'm into blah, 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 that means I'm interested in that thing. I'm into it. Okay, so I'm into reading, I'm into books, I'm into gardening, I'm into hiking, I'm into fishing, I'm into traveling. Okay. Maya from Russia says, I'm a flight attendant. Do you like flying in planes? Maya, I like flying internationally, but I don't really like flying domestically. And, Maya, the proper way to spell the word plane is P-L-A-N-E. The word P-L-A-I-N is a different meaning. A plane, P-L-A-I-N, means a flat area of land. P-L-A-N-E means a flying machine with wings. But if you want to have a relationship, that's not enough. Well, Enya, if you want to have a relationship with someone, then you need to know a lot more than that. But you're just talking about an introduction. If you're talking about meeting someone on a date, or, you know, to try to date someone, then you should say, hello, my name is Mark. I'm from blah, blah, blah. It's really nice to meet you. What are you interested in? Enya, if you're trying to meet someone else, then you should start by asking about them, not telling them about yourself. Okay? That's different. If you're trying to meet someone on a date, that's not the same thing as meeting someone for friendship or for a relationship. When you're trying to meet someone on a date, you should always ask about them first. Be interested in them. Don't just talk about yourself. Okay? Hello, Marcus. You've got a good name. Teacher says, we can only type 3 lines. It's a mission. How can we introduce yourselves simply? Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's hard, right? It's difficult. And of course, if you're talking about on Hello Talk or something where you have so limited space to write, then yeah, you should try to do it as efficiently as you can, as short and succinctly. Do you guys know that word? That's a good word. Succinct or succinctly? To be succinct or succinctly, succinct means to speak with very few words. Okay? So, yeah, you either need to be succinct with use very few words, or you need to use more than one comment. Okay? Good night, Enya. Hello, Guno from Berlin. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much, my friend. I look like Hulk Hogan. Oh, wow. Do I? No. No, I don't. Do I think the name Brigitte is beautiful? Sure. Yeah. people, words are words. A rose is but a rose, right? So it's all in your personality. Your personality is what makes your name great. Okay, it's like a good band name. When a band is trying to choose a name, no name is ever a good band name. All band names are terrible. It's a great band that makes the name great. So, if you're great, your name will be great. What is the difference between introduce and presentation? So, to present yourself and to introduce yourself are pretty much the same thing. Okay? Present could be a little bit more about what you look like, right? So introducing yourself is telling about who you are. Presenting yourself is, what do you look like? Did you tuck in your shirt? Are you wearing any makeup? Did you fix your hair to look nice? So how you present yourself can just be about your looks, okay? But I would also say that a proper introduction is part of a proper presentation. If you want to present yourself well, then you also need to introduce yourself well. They go together, right? But let me be clear about something. I'm not a snob. A snob. Do you guys know that word? Snob. S-N-O-B. So what that means is you don't have to always wear really expensive clothes and really nice makeup and you don't have to always look nice everywhere you go, like expensive clothes nice. You have to look proper for the place you are going, right? So if you're at a park, do you need to wear a suit? No, of course you don't. That would be weird, right? You should wear the proper clothes to be at a park, usually, right? So how you present yourself doesn't necessarily mean just wear really expensive stuff or whatever. No, it's not about looking rich. It's about looking kind. I think that's probably the simplest way to put it. How you present yourself is about looking kind. You know, if you see a dog on the street, if that dog looks mean, then you won't touch it. You won't go up to it, right? But if that dog looks nice, then you might, right? This is human instinct. So, present yourself well. Depending on where you go, that's going to mean different things. Okay? What did I miss? I missed some kind of a joke. What did I miss about Gunter? There's a good introduction. Edgar. Edgar says, "Hello, Mark. I'm in the park this morning. It's a fresh day in Costa Rica. I'm walking with Nala, my pet. Okay, now that's a pretty good introduction. He didn't even tell me where he's from directly. He just said he's in Costa Rica with his pet. But because he's in Costa Rica with his pet, I can assume that's where he's from. So that is a good introduction. Good, good, very good, Edgar. In the morning when you go to school, you're like a homeless person. Dean Martin was a snob, was he? I don't know. I don't really know that much about Dean Martin. I only know, he's the one that did Ain't That a Kick in the Head, isn't he? I think he did, yeah. I can't remember which songs he was famous for. Brigitte, I have never been to mainland China. I lived in Taiwan for 4 years. Oh, I didn't explain the word snob. A snob is a person who thinks they're better than other people. That you look down on other people like they're not as good as you are. That's a snob. So what I mean is look at me, everybody. You see what I'm wearing? I have a t-shirt and jeans. A t-shirt and jeans, this is what we call the musician's uniform. Musicians all wear t-shirt and jeans. It's simple. It's not really informal, but it's not formal. So this is what I wear if I'm in a relaxed situation. Okay, but if I were going to a business meeting, then I would wear something different. If I were going hiking, then I would wear something different. Present yourself properly for the venue that you're going to. All right? I'm a musician. I think about music, right? So, if I'm a musician, sometimes I play rock music, and when I play rock music, I bring my rock drums and I look like a rock drummer. When I play jazz music, I bring my jazz drums and I look like a jazz drummer. You have to bring the right equipment for the right music. You have to bring the right person for the right music. So you have to present yourself the way you should present yourself in that situation. If you're meeting somebody for work, that's one. If you're meeting somebody for friends, that's different. If you're meeting somebody for traveling, that might be different. If you're meeting somebody for learning, that's different. For studying, that's different. Okay? So, yeah, that's all I'm trying to tell you is that the way you present yourself, I don't want you to think that you always need to wear a tie and look really formal. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, you need to look at the situation you are in and always think about, okay, in this situation, how do I need to present myself? In this situation, how do I need to present myself? That's going to change depending on where you are and what you're doing. Okay? Mohammed says, so a person with ego is what we call a snob. Well, yeah, that's usually a part of it, but being snobby, S-N-O-B-B-Y, just means when, if you think Ferraris are the only car like every other car is a bad car and only Ferraris are good cars, then you're a snob. That's just a stupid thing to think. You know, come on. There are lots of other good cars. Most people can't afford a Ferrari, right? So being a snob basically just means thinking that you're better than other people or thinking that nothing else is good enough. Nothing else is good enough. Okay? What is the necessary information that you should use in an introduction from my point of view? Peace world. In any introduction, you should start with your name and where you're from, and then maybe one other important piece of information, what you do or a hobby or some other third piece of information. So usually I would say you should try to have 3 pieces of information, your name and where you're from, and then something else, depending on what you're doing, right? If you're talking about business, then you should talk about what your work is. Give your name, where you're from, and what you do. If you're talking with friends about, you know, they're talking about their interests, then you should say your name, where you're from, and your interests, right? So the third piece of information is going to change depending on who you're talking to, okay? Is snob a bad word? It's not a bad word, but it's not a good thing. Being snobby is not a good thing, in my opinion. No. Nobody thinks that it's good to be a snob. Okay? Thank you, Gaga. Hello, Margarita. My name is Margarita. I'm from Nicaragua, a little country in Central America. That's good. Thank you. You will guide me to eat Chinese huoguo, or maybe I will guide you. I know about hot pot. Camilla says, a musician brings the right equipment for the right music. That's right. And so you need to think like that when you're bringing yourself somewhere. Your equipment is what you look like. And then how you present yourself is just your introduction, right? You know, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I do this, whatever, something like that, right? If someone asks you, what is your typical day, then how can you answer? Well, Brigitte, that's going to depend on you. That's a common interview question for jobs. Can you tell us about your typical day? Brigitte, if someone asks you about your typical day, they don't care what you do. What they care about is, do you have a schedule? Is your life busy enough that you have to plan things? That's why they're asking you about your typical day. They want to know, do you just wake up whenever you feel like it and then do whatever you want? Or do you wake up at 7 o'clock and make breakfast, and then after you make breakfast, you go running, and after you go running, you watch the news for 30 minutes, and then after you watch the news, you study for 2 hours, and after you study for 2 hours, you do work for 5 hours. They want to know if you have a schedule. They don't care what that schedule really is. They just want to know, do you value time? If you value time, then you have a schedule. Usually. Okay? Reza, snobby doesn't really mean selfish. It just means that you that you think nothing is good enough for you think nothing is good enough, or that only your opinion is the best opinion. That's kind of snobby, okay? Mujib Mahbub, I don't know how to help you. You should try to talk to the Hello Talk people. Try to talk to the Hello Talk team, and they'll help you figure out what your problem is. Okay? Amir, if you learn how to give a proper introduction, then maybe I'll let you come on my stage and play a song with your guitar. But, Amir, you just came into my class, and my class is about introductions, and you want something from me, but you didn't introduce yourself. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If you introduce yourself to someone properly, maybe they will give you what you want. If you don't, I don't know you, Amir. If I don't know you, why should I invite you on my stage? Right? This is what I mean. The internet makes you think that you don't need to introduce yourself anymore. You do! The internet makes you think you don't need to introduce yourself anymore, but you really, 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 really do. Okay? And Mehdi Hassan, my topic, it's on the screen. Why didn't you read it when you joined? I don't understand when people join something that they don't know about. I have never in my life clicked on anything that I didn't know what I was introduced, like that I didn't know what I was going to. Mehdi, we're talking about how to properly introduce yourself to people and why that's important. Okay? YJ has a good question. Is it rude when you first meet someone to ask how old are you? It might be. Age can be a very sensitive topic for some people, okay? Especially in the West, a lot of women don't like to talk about their age. They like to keep that number a little mysterious because every woman always wants to try to look as young as they possibly can, right? Not just women, men too, but just men are more lazy about it. But women in America, sometimes they're a little bit more sensitive about talking about their age. Not all of them, but some of them might be, okay? Especially older women. If you meet an older woman, I would probably just say, don't ask age. That's not a number they want to talk about. Okay? But that's a good question, YJ, about, is it proper to ask about how old are you? Sometimes, here's another one that you should not always ask. In China, when I was in Asia, anytime I was in Asia, it seemed like it was fairly common to ask people if you're married or not. That's not usually a question that we would ask here. Or how much money do you make? So if you're in the West, asking about how much money you make or asking about if you're married Well, asking about how much money you make, that's just impolite. It's considered impolite in our culture. We would only talk about how much money we make in a very, very personal, private situation, not with just anyone. Okay? So that's one thing you should think about. Don't ask people how much money they make. All right? And then also, marriage. Can you ask if someone is married? You can, but it might be uncomfortable. So you should think about that. If you ask that question, it might make someone uncomfortable. Do you want to make someone uncomfortable? If you don't want to make someone uncomfortable, then maybe you shouldn't ask that question, right? And you should also know, if you ask someone if they are married or not, sometimes that implies that you are interested in them. You're asking them if they are single. Okay, so if you ask someone if they're married or not, they might think you're interested in me. Okay? Hello, Ahmad from France. You're a student at the university. You like cooking and having fun with friends. Nice to meet you, my friend. Thank you for your introduction. Hello, Mehdi Hassan from Bangladesh. And you're a civil engineer. Okay, that's a pretty good introduction. Which, let me check something. You know, it's so funny. Mehdi Hassan, your name is almost exactly the same as there's a guy named Mehdi Raza Hassan. He's a British American guy. He's from India originally, but he's pretty famous in America. I love watching him on MSNBC. Smart guy. Amir Bay is also a professional volleyball player. Well, that's interesting. I want to know more about that. Call me really ignorant, but I didn't know that Iran had professional volleyball teams. I didn't know. That's cool. Take care, Gunter, my friend. I'll send you a message later. In my opinion, is body language important when you talk to people? Yeah, of course, it is very important. How you stand, your posture, how your face looks, how your eyes look, all of those are important. Yeah. What's the difference between I adore you and I like you? I adore you is stronger. To adore, adoration is strong liking, very strong liking of someone or something. Hello, Noor from Egypt. Should I mention interesting things while introducing myself? Mehdi Hassan, you should mention whatever is important in that situation. So if you're talking to somebody, if you're meeting somebody at work, then maybe you should talk about what your job is. If you're meeting somebody at a movie, then you should say, my name is Mehdi Hassan, and I live in this city, and nice to meet you. And maybe you could share something about yourself, something small about yourself personally, right? So, in my opinion, a good idea, a good basic idea is always give your name and where you're from. And then the third piece of information you can change depending on who you're meeting. If you're meeting somebody from work, then tell them what you do. If you're meeting somebody in a friendly way, then just tell them something about yourself, personal, right? Okay, so Haru says, we don't ask about age, but asking money is the last thing we ask in Japan. It's taboo in Japan. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's generally considered, it's not taboo to ask in America, but it's considered tacky. Tacky is a word that, it's a slang word that means, like, really? Like, why would you ask me that? It's kind of, it shows that you don't really think very carefully about your situation. And maybe you don't really think very well about other people. Okay? Amir says, if you search on the web, you can see the Iranian volleyball national team rank. Okay, yeah, I will. I'm sorry. I just, that's why I like doing this, because it's fun to learn about, other countries and cultures and stuff. Yeah, no, I will. I will look up and check out the Iranian volleyball team later. Omar wants to ask, is it good to say young lady, you are adorable? If you call someone adorable, it can just be a nice, polite compliment. But they might think that you're interested in them. Okay, so let me show you something, everybody. This is not really on topic, but one moment. So the word adorable comes from the word adore, which comes from the Latin word adorare. Adorare means to worship. To worship. Okay? So adoration is you like someone enough to want to worship them. Okay? You adore them. Okay? So it's a very strong form of like. Okay? You can use the word, but you should know that it does mean a pretty strong form of like. Okay? Amir, I have many Iranian followers here. So I do know a lot of, well, I won't say a lot. I do know a little about Iran and the Iranian people because I have a lot of followers from Iran here. But I'm always interested to know more. Okay, so Amir, I know you want to come up on stage and sing, but you do have to understand that I am a teacher and I am trying to teach a class. And it's difficult to teach if every single time I teach, somebody wants to come up to do something different, something random that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm talking about. So, Amir, look behind me. I'm a drummer, man. I'm a professional drummer. I am a musician. Okay? I love music. I would be happy to have you come on my stream and perform at the right time. But not just when you just show up. If you just walk in my door and you just say, hi, I don't know what you're doing, but can I play guitar? I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't just walk into your class or your home and just say, hi, I don't know who you are, but can I play drums? So, Amir, I want to hear your playing. I do. And now I know who you are, and that's great. So send me a personal message. And guess what, Amir? I do a live stream all about music around the world. World music. I have a live stream that I call Earth Tones, World Music Discussions. If you come on that live stream, I would love to have you come up and perform music for me. That is a stream that I made for music. Okay? Don't be sorry. It's okay. It's all right. But I just want you to understand that I try to... It's difficult, but I try to keep a topic and I try to teach here. I try to stay on topic. Okay? It's very difficult to do with so many new people all the time. It's very difficult. Yeah. Ahmad, the word tacky, T-A-C-K-Y, T-A-C-K-Y. It's kind of like the opposite of the word chic. I'm like, chic means fashionable and, you know, like, you know things, right? But if you do the tacky thing, a tacky thing is like you don't know anything about culture or fashion. You're doing a tacky thing. When I look up the definition here, let me see what the definition says in my dictionary for tacky. It says not tasteful or fashionable. So like I said, kind of like the opposite of chic. Chic is tasteful and fashionable, right? So tacky is the opposite of chic. All right? And Ahmad says adorable is for children. It can be, yes. When you use the word adorable when we're talking about children, then it's innocent and it just means very, very lovely, like a lovely child. An adorable child is a lovely child. So you're correct about that. That's great, Amir. And again, I would like to hear your music, and I'm a musician too. I have a rock band that I promote here sometimes, and I play lots of other kinds of music too. Mona wants to know, how can you explain posture to someone? Posture is very simple to explain. Mona, if you have a classroom, I want you to walk into that classroom, sit down at your chair like this, and then ask the kids to describe what you look like. Use one word, adjectives. Just one word adjectives to describe what you look like when you sit like this. And then I want you to sit like this and ask the children to give you one word adjectives to describe what you look like. That's posture. Posture means how you present your spine. Okay? Are you straight or are you curved? Okay? If you look like this, then you look lazy. If you look like this, then you look like you're ready to do something. You're prepared. Okay? That's posture. Reza's asking, after hearing about him, what is the appropriate reaction to attract or reject him? Reza, that's a whole nother, that's a different class, Reza. That's about dating. We're not talking about that really today. I'm sorry. There are many websites you can go to talk about how to flirt. That's what you're talking about, is how to properly flirt. Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that here. Lena says there's a car shaped like a hot dog in Cincinnati these days. That's right, the Oscar Mayer Wiener car, right? It's always driving around. Mm-hmm. Have I listened to Arabian music? Yes, I have. Okay. So, who would like to come on my stage and introduce themselves to me? We are talking about introductions. We're not talking about verb tenses. We're not talking about how to use the word approach. We're talking about introductions. Stay on topic. I have a topic. This is my topic. I feel like we have a phrase in English. It's like herding cats. It's like herding cats. It means, well, to herd. Do you guys know that word? H-E-R-D. To herd, a herder is a person who tries to keep a group of animals together and watches them, right? So a sheep herder is the man who watches the sheep, right? And sheep like to be together. Sheep like to be in a group, right? But have you ever tried to keep a group of cats together? Yeah, so anytime you try to keep a bunch of people together who don't want to be together, or they don't want to listen and do the right thing, that's like herding cats. And sometimes that's what I feel like when I'm on here. I'm like herding cats. I'm like saying, we're on topic, we're on topic, we're staying on topic. Okay, who raised their hand? Edgar. Edgar wants to come introduce himself. Raise your hand if you want to come on my stage and introduce yourself to me. And I will help you with your introduction. Edgar, would you like to come on my stage and introduce yourself to me? Hello, Edgar, my friend.
Hi, my friend. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
Would you like to introduce yourself to me?
Good morning, Mark. I am right now in the street. I want to show you.
Ah, I see that. And you're in Costa Rica.
Yes, Mark, it's a little town. I say you in Spanish. Este es el pueblo de Tejar de El Guarco en la provincia de Cartago, Costa Rica.
Oh, that's a long name.
Estamos hoy en un día muy nublado. Te voy a mostrar un icono de la provincia. En realidad está un poco tapado por las nubes. The Irasu volcano is behind the clouds.
And behind the clouds. Oh, okay.
I want to show you.
Okay. So that's the mountain or the volcano?
Yes, yes, it's a volcano.
Oh, it's a volcano. Oh, wow. That's cool.
4,000 meters height.
Okay, so Edgar, let's start with
Yes,
your introduction. When you introduce yourself, you need to say, "Hello, my name is Edgar. I live in Costa Rica."
I got a mic. Mark, sorry,
That's
Mark.
okay.
My name is Edgar. I live in Costa Rica. My native city is Cartago.
Cartago.
It's an
Okay.
old city. The best cities founded by s- the Spanish people.
Yeah, the Spaniards.
Spaniards, yes, yes. More 400 years. Really, uh, 500 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
now, Edgar, that's a good introduction. That's a good, proper introduction. And this is so important when you're trying to meet new people and talk to new people, especially when you're meeting people around the world, Edgar. You are an interesting person because you're in a new place. So introduce yourself that way when you meet people around the world. And yeah, I want to see your city. I want to see the clouds and everything, but I want to know who I'm talking to first.
Yes, I am 54 years old. My my job consists in I am security officer.
Ah, okay.
I I work in the afternoon
Okay.
from 2 a.m. Sorry from 2 p.m. at 10 p.m.
2 p.m. to 10
every day.
p.m. Okay. All right. And
Yes,
Edgar,
the
by the
sun.
way, Edgar, your English is really pretty good.
I'm tried, Mark. I am so passionate. I am studying English about 1 year
Good. Wow, that's
ago.
amazing. That's amazing. Good for you.
I take the decision because my my children uh, are grown, is grown, and I want a daughter and one boy. They are studying in the university,
Ah, okay.
and and I have more time for myself.
So my friend Belen from Spain, she said that people from Costa Rica are called ticos. I didn't know that. Is that right?
Yes, yes. We have a rare form to pronunciation with the letter R.
Right, right. So when you do you call yourselves Costa Rican or do you call yourselves ticos?
Uh, the same thing.
Either
I
one,
like
either
to
one.
farm.
Okay. All right.
We like to farm.
Okay. All right. I didn't know. I've never heard ticos before. That's cool. I didn't know that one.
Uh, we say Costa Rica.
Okay.
Costa Rica.
Okay.
Don't say Costa Rica.
Ah. Ah. Oh, I
We
didn't.
pronounce the letter. Sorry, Mark.
That's okay. That's okay.
A song.
I
A
know.
song. Very nice.
That's okay. So in Costa Rica, you pronounce the R more like an American R.
Yes, the letter R.
Wow, I did not know that.
We everybody say Raro, Rico, Costa Rica,
Okay,
Roca.
okay. Now, see, now I need to go there because I speak a little bit of Spanish, but the one thing that I can't do, I can't roll my R. I can't make that Spanish R. So maybe I should go to visit Costa Rica because I can say that.
The American people pronounce the R like the ticos.
Okay, then I can go to Costa Rica. All right, good. That's funny. I didn't know that. That's funny. All right. Interesting to know. Yeah. Well, Edgar, thank you so much for coming on my stage and thank you for introducing yourself here. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your small town there. It's great.
Thank you to you, Mark. I'm very happy I can participate.
You're doing great and just keep working on it. Keep working on it. And Edgar, I can tell that when you speak English, you're thinking in English most of the time. So that's good because thinking in English is the best practice you can do, right? Because you live in Costa Rica, so most people speak Spanish all the time. But you can walk around all day and just try to think in English. Just like
Yes.
I live here in America and I practice my Chinese by thinking, right? I can't practice by speaking because there's no one to speak Chinese with here, but I can think in Chinese all day and then I can practice. So you can do the same thing with your English. Think in English
I get it.
as much as you can.
I get it, Mark, because I can understand you everything that you say, and I can read very well. My little problem is talking, but step by step, I know I can do it.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. Well, thank you, my friend, for coming on my stage, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, Edgar.
Bye.
That's so funny. Yeah, I did not know that about Costa Rican Spanish, that Costa Rican Spanish doesn't really do the rolled Spanish R, which is really useful for me because, like I said, that's the one thing I can't do in Spanish. I cannot roll my R's. I've tried to learn how since I was a boy, but I just can't do it. So I guess I can speak Spanish pretty well if I go to Costa Rica. Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, Ticos is a nickname. Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. All right. I didn't know that. See, we learn new things all the time. Reza says, how can you do it thinking in Chinese? It's my huge problem. Reza, are you learning Chinese? It doesn't matter what language you're learning. Whatever language you are learning, if you learn something in the book, whatever you learned in that book needs to go in your head and you need to use it in your head. So, if they teach you in Chinese, hello is ni hao. So, when you learn ni hao, you should walk around the rest of the day and in your mind, everyone you see, you should say ni hao. Okay? Or if you're learning English, whatever you're learning in the book, you need to put into practice in your mind every day when you're walking around. Okay, so we're getting off topic, though. We're getting off topic. We're still talking about introductions, everyone. We're still talking about introductions, okay? I would like to have somebody else come on my stage. Would anyone else like to come on my stage to introduce themselves to me? Raise your hand if you want to introduce yourself to me. Let's talk to Holguin. Holguin, where is Holguin from? Holguin, would you like to come on my stage? Hello, Holguin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, my friend?
I'm very wonderful. To talk
Good.
to you. So
Where are you
I haven't
from? Well, I don't recognize that flag.
no, it's a wrong flag
Oh.
because when I was created the when I was created the application, and I couldn't find my flat. But I'm from Dominican Republic. I
Oh,
speak
okay. The
Spanish.
DR. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I speak Spanish.
All right. Well, let's start with why don't you just introduce yourself to me?
Well, my name is Jorge, and I'm from Dominican Republic, and I'm 28 years old, and I'm working at a company export and import, and I'm custom analyze. So I'm studying the. I want to visit United States because that country I always like it, and I want to visit a friendly part of Boston because when I was play baseball, but I'm fan of Boston. So and I want to get accent like American people because I love the English.
Well, let me tell you something that many people don't understand about American accents. You want an American accent, but Holgan, you already have an American accent. What do I mean? Here's what I mean, man. What I mean is this. Where are American people from? Holgan, where are American people from?
United States.
We're from everywhere. We're from
Yes,
everywhere, right? So my
exactly.
grandmother had an accent from Eastern Europe. Does that mean she's not
Wow.
American? No, she's American too. She's just as American as I am. So your accent doesn't mean that you're not, you know, from here because everybody's from different places in America. Okay? So, just a few days ago, Holgan, I went to a festival here in my city, a food festival. And one of the guys that was working there was from the Czech Republic. He was from the Czech Republic. And he had a Czech accent. Was anyone bothered by his accent? Did anyone care about his accent? Did anyone say, oh, I can't understand you because of your accent? No. No,
No.
no. And so, Holgan, here's what you need to understand about your accent, man. I don't want you to sound like me because
No.
life is beautiful when life has more color. And your accent
Exactly.
is your color. Your accent is your
Yeah.
color. So I don't want you to lose your color. But, Holgan, here's the way I like to think about accents.
Okay.
This is what I like to think about accents. Accents are like crayons. Okay?
Crayon.
And when you buy crayons, do you want all black crayons? No. Do you want all brown
No.
crayons? No. You want all the colors.
Different.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
But
Different. Yeah.
sometimes, Holgan, if your crayon is not sharp, can you draw a very clear picture? No. Right. So what do you need to do? You need to sharpen your crayon. So that's what I like to think about with your accent. You don't need to lose your accent. You just need to sharpen it. Okay?
Yes.
So, go ahead. Do you have something you want to
That's
say?
that's I say because as you know, if you, when you speak, I can understand you perfectly, and I suppose when I speak, you understand me perfectly.
I do.
That we use the to say we used to say that I want to get us an American accent, but I suppose that you have to own way to speak.
Yeah,
If you
you
could,
do.
if you
Right.
couldn't understand me, I can understand you. I suppose that is hard because, for example, now I'm studying, but many people has different way to speak, and I have my way to speak. So
Yes, and
that's
Holgan,
why.
do you know I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, okay? And we have a
Oh,
baseball team here, the Cincinnati Reds,
yes,
right?
Eddie
And
De La Cruz is from my country.
that's right. But
Eddie De La Cruz
and even when I
is
was a boy, there was another guy also from your country, Tony Perez. Have you ever heard of Tony Perez?
yes,
Another
yes,
famous baseball
yes,
player. And do you know what?
yes.
When I was a boy, my city, we loved Tony Perez. He was one of our favorite
Tony Perez,
people. And do you know one of the things
it's a
we
good
loved
player.
about Tony? We loved Tony's accent. We loved his accent, man. We loved to hear him speak. Why? Because it did sound like Dominican and it was interesting. So we loved that his
Yeah.
accent was so cool, right? So I don't want you to lose your accent, but what you can do, my friend, is I just want you to think if there are a few words, maybe there are a few words in English that when you say those words, you know your pronunciation is not perfect. Like you want it to be better than it is. Think about 10 words in English that are difficult for you and write those words down. Okay. And then look at that word and figure out what sound is difficult for you. Is it the TH sound? Is it the R sound? Is it the L sound? Why is this word hard for you to say? And then I want you to try. This is the hard part. You have to do a little research and you have to try to find every other word that has that sound in it and write them down. If you make a list of all those words, so you start with 10 words that you think about that are difficult for you, then you make a list of all the words that have sounds like that. This is what I call your TAIL. TAIL. TAIL means your target accent improvement list. So if you carry that around with you in your pocket, fold it up and carry it around with you and practice
In the
those
phone.
words. Yeah, right. I know I'm old, so I always think about a piece of paper in my pocket, man. But yeah, you can do it on your phone now, right? You can do it on your phone and put it on your phone and then practice it all the time. Just every once in a while, look at those words and say them, right? And that is how you can improve your accent to be more sharp. Okay? I don't
Yes.
want you to lose your accent. Your accent is great and you already sound really clear. So, Holgan, you're doing great. You just need to see if you can sharpen your accent a little bit more. All right?
Thank you very much. My friend is she's learning English, and I told her that when she entered to the application, that she has to looking for you because you are a wonderful person that can teach. So we appreciate that.
Thank
It's
you very
very,
much for saying that. That
it's
means a
a
lot to
good
me. Thank
thing
you.
for us. So thank you very much for the advice. We appreciate it. So
Thank you, my friend.
I will continue to watch your program.
Thank
Okay.
you. It was great to meet you. I'll see you next
Thank you.
time, okay?
See you.
Take
See
care, my
you.
friend. Bye bye. That was nice. Okay, can you guys wait for just 1 minute? I want to go see if I think there's probably no coffee left, but I'm going to go see if there's a little bit more coffee. Okay, I'll be right back in just 1 minute. Don't go anywhere, okay? Okay, sorry about that. 10 people left. Well, that's not my problem. If you can't wait for me to go get some coffee, well, then I guess you weren't that serious. Yeah, I don't care. All right, let's see. Okay, I have time for one more person. If one more person would like to raise your hand and come introduce yourself to me, if you want to work on your introduction, then raise your hand and come talk to me. Let's see. Young, would you like to come talk to me? Introduce yourself. Hello, Young.
Young. Hello.
Hello, my
Mark.
friend. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So, how about you
this is
introduce yourself to me?
Yeah. My name is Yung. I come from China, and I can speak a little English. But my Chinese is so fluent. So, I'm an engineer, and I'm working in a company as a team leader. So I don't speak English or use English in the daily work, but my hobby is learning English is my hobby. I like to learn English and Japanese and some other languages. But to be honest, I'm not good at speak foreign language. I like reading or listening. So this is probably due to my personality, I think. So I'm not good at communication, I think. But I like your live stream so much. So when I have when I am off from work, I like uh, to use this app to watch your live stream. It's good to be here to listen to you. That's a, a good time for me. Yeah.
Thank you, Young.
So
So, Young, let me tell you one thing that I tell many Chinese people. If you're going to introduce yourself, you should say what city you're from or what area. Because China's big. So if I just say I'm from America, that doesn't mean anything. I'm from the United States. That's too big. So you have to say I could say I'm from Ohio, and now, oh, okay, Ohio, Joe. Oh, okay, I know that. That's a little bit closer, right? But China's so big. Like, are you from Beijing? Are you from Shanghai? Are you from, like what area? Give somebody a better idea. So when you give somebody an introduction, you're drawing a picture. You're drawing a picture for them. So you need to draw, enough information for them to know who you are, right? And China is just too big. That's like if I said, "Hi, my name is Mark. I'm from Earth." It's kind of like, "Oh, well, I'm from Earth too. Aren't we all from Earth?" Yeah. So you have to try to give something, a little bit smaller, like your city or your province or something like that. Yeah. Or you could just say the north of China or the south of China. That's fine too. Sometimes you could just use, a direction like north, south, east, west.
I live in Hefei City, which is the capital city of Anhui Province. It's in the East China, I think.
Okay, good. All right. And you said you feel like your personality is just not very good for languages or for Why do you think that? Why do you think that your personality is not very good for languages?
Um, because I have to work with a computer every day, so I overwork a lot, so I don't have time to go to shop or have to take part in some parties with my friends. So I have to work and work. You know that is common in China.
Yeah, yeah, I do know that's common, but I just mean you said that you thought you were not very your personality was not very good for languages is what you said earlier. But is that because you think you're too shy? Are you too shy or you're just too busy? Or
I
both?
think both.
Both. Okay.
Both.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Young, then if you have watched my live streams before, then you know that I call everyone here language warriors, right? Language
Yeah.
warrior. What is a warrior, everyone? Warrior. A warrior is a fighter.
Fight.
Yeah, a fighter. Right. And the reason why I call everyone a language warrior is because if you want to learn a language, then you must fight. It's a fight. And what are you fighting? You're fighting your fear because everyone is afraid to speak. In any language, it doesn't matter what language it is English, Japanese, Chinese, French, German 40% of people are afraid to speak in public in any language. Why? It's not about their vocabulary. It's not about their pronunciation. It's not about their grammar. It's about their fear. They're too shy. So that's why I'm saying if you want to learn a language, you can't be shy. You just can't. Just like if you're in the army, Young, if you're in the army, you're a shy person, but are you allowed to be shy in the army? No. If
No.
they tell you to do something, you have to go do it, right? So that proves that your shyness can be controlled. That proves that your shyness can be controlled. There are only 2% of people, maybe 2% of people, they have a real problem with shyness that maybe they need some real help. But the rest of the people, 98% of everyone, they just need to understand this idea that if you joined the army, what would you do? You would have to just put your shyness away. You're not allowed to be shy anymore when you're in the army. And if you're a performer like I am, I'm a musician, you're not allowed to be shy. Performing means being in front of people. So you have to do it. You just have to get used to it. So many musicians, we might be shy people, but we have to learn how to put that in a box and put it away. And when we get on the stage, we can't be afraid, right? So
Yeah.
that's why that's the most important part of learning any language. You need to understand that if you're afraid and you're too worried about what other people think, then you won't learn well. So the first thing you have to do is fight your fear of yourself, like your shyness. And your shyness, a lot of times shyness is all about you have this little person in your head and they're always thinking about what other people think. What do they think about me? They think I'm weird or they don't like me or I hope they like me. I don't know. There's this person in there. But that person is not always helpful, right? Sometimes you need to tell that person, "Hey, shut up." Just you have to do what you need to do when you need to do it. You can't let your shyness be in control. Okay, when you're a child,
Okay.
your shyness is in control. And, that's just how it is. But when we get older, we realize that there are times we need to put our shyness in a box and put it away. Right?
I always told my child to be brave, but his dad is not brave enough. I'm
Well,
sorry for that.
well, no, that's
Actually,
okay. You just need to, now you know how important that is. You have a child, so you do need to demonstrate this kind of bravery, right? If you want them to be like that, then you need to show them that you can be like that too. And
yeah,
this is a very good way to
I'm
do
working
it.
on it. Yeah, today is a big day for me. This is my first time on the on the stage to talk with a teacher in English. It's very important for me, and thank you for your suggestion. I will do my best to improve my English
Well, you're doing
and to
fine.
be brave.
You're doing fine,
Thank you.
Young. You're doing fine. And just remember that
Thank you.
the first thing you have to do when you're learning a language is be a fighter. You have to be a fighter and you have to put your fear away, you know? So, Maida from Iran said, you can't see me properly. If you can't see me properly, it's because you need to turn your camera sideways. You have to watch my live streams this way. You can't watch them this way. Okay? But Young, you're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. And,
Thank you.
you know, that's the one thing that's good about having a child. When you have a child, sometimes that's the only thing that could force you to do what you need to do. Like if you didn't have a child, then maybe you would be too shy and you'll let your shyness win. But now you know, if you're too shy, your child is going to see that too. And here's what I tell everybody, Young. If you have a child, then you are a teacher. Even if you don't want to be, your child is your student and they are always learning from you. So that's why it's important. They're learning from you even if you don't want them to be. They are. So you have to decide to be a teacher. And what kind of teacher are you going to be, right? That's what you have to decide. So, and you have to understand that you have to show them by example, right? If you tell them you have to be like this, but then you're not like this, that's not going to work, right? They're not going to believe you. You have to demonstrate it by actions first, right? Yeah. Do as I do, not as I say. Do as I do. Yeah. So, Young, yeah. Look, everybody's saying your English is great. Your English is great. And Young, I'll give you one more tip.
Yeah.
This is a special tip for Chinese listeners. Young, Chinese is a small mouth language. English is a big mouth language. So what does that mean? When I speak Chinese, I keep my mouth small. And it makes my Chinese sound better. When you speak English, you need to do the opposite of that. You need to try to think about making your mouth bigger on your vowels. A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O. If you make your mouth bigger and move your mouth more, your English will sound more like mine.
Okay.
So it's really funny. But for example, the vowel sounds A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, E. A, 这是大的口 E 这是中的口 I 这是小的口看我 A
看我，
E I A E I A E I Okay? 大的中的小的 Okay, Young? But all of them have a very wide mouth. So when I think of the letter A, I think of a big apple. Apple. It's as wide and as open as I can get. Oh, we lost Young. Oh well, maybe he ran out of time. But for all my Chinese followers or any language that uses a smaller mouth, most of the Asian languages do, then you need to use a big mouth when you speak English. Okay, so practice your vowels and really try to open your mouth big. Okay, that's okay, Young. 没关系. You are welcome, Neves. Okay. You like my dimples. All right. Yes, big mouth, Bor, big mouth, mouth, 就是 M-O-U-T-H. M-O-U-S-E 就是老鼠就是那个 mouse 不一样的意思不一样 yeah So, yeah, big mouth language. English is a big mouth language, everyone. English is a big mouth language. Some languages use a small mouth, but English uses a pretty big mouth, especially American English. Let me be clear about that. British English, common British English is a bit more small-mouthed, but stage British English, like proper actors, they use a pretty big mouth, like Patrick Stewart. Yeah. Yeah, Miguel, I think Spanish is a pretty big mouth language too. Most of the time, Spanish is a big mouth language. But Spanish is a bit faster than English is. Like the average speed of syllables, I think, is faster in Spanish than in English. Jed wants to know if English is a big mouth language, can you, it can change your face shape? That's an interesting question. If you speak English and English is a big mouth language, will that change the shape of your face? I don't think so. I don't think so. No. I don't think that you're moving those muscles enough to cause any kind of facial change. I think that you're moving those muscles enough to learn more coordination with your mouth muscles. We don't use our mouth muscles, our face muscles, for very many things, but we actually have a lot of muscles up here. And you can use them for many things, like smiling. Okay. Let's see. I want to talk to one more person. Let's talk to Nat. Hello, Nat. Nat, would you like to come on my stage and introduce yourself? Hello, Nat. How
Hello.
are you? Hola.
Yes. Hola. Hello, my name is Natalia, and I am from Mexico, and nowadays I am a stay-at-home mom.
Ah, okay. And once again, like I told Young before, Mexico is a pretty big place. So where in Mexico? Are you from Mexico City or from Yucatan, or where are you from? Where in Mexico?
I am from Tlaxcala. It's at the center of the country.
Yeah, okay. Those are some of those. There are some words in Mexico and Central and South America that I love because they come from the old languages and they have those really cool spellings like, like the word tomato. If you guys didn't know, the word tomato comes from the ancient, I think it's Aztec. Aztec is tomato. T-O-M, let me see, did I spell it right? T-O-M-A-T-L. So the original spelling of tomato is more like that. T-O-M-A-T-L, tomato. And there are many words in Mexico that kind of come from that ancient language. And I love when I see their spellings are so unique that I love. It's so interesting. Yeah. Like all the ones with X. The X in the early Spanish language is such an interesting letter. Yeah. Anyway, it's my own fascination with early spellings of early Latin languages. So, Nat, you're a stay-at-home mom, and what do you like to do for fun? How many kids do you have?
I have two. I have one girl that is 6 years old. She is right now at elementary school. And I have a baby boy. He's 5 months old.
Okay, great. Your English is excellent.
Thank you. I was a little nervous because I need a little more of practice talking. Well, like you said, I need to be more confident and participate to improve my English.
Yes, but here's one thing I can tell just by talking to you. When you're speaking English, you're thinking in English. And that's big. That's a big, big difference. If you can think in English, then you can practice English all the time. So right now, sometimes when I hear people speak English, I can hear their grammar from the other language they know, right? So they're using English words, but they're using their native grammar, right? And so then I can hear that when they speak. But when you speak, I hear English grammar. So that means you're thinking in English, not translating from Spanish. That's good. If you can think in English, then here's the great thing about practicing a language. You don't need to go anywhere and you don't need anyone else. You can practice language all the time in your mind. It's not difficult. You just need to think, instead of thinking hola, you think hello. Instead of thinking mucho gusto, you think nice to meet you. That's all. It's not difficult. Just whatever you do during your day, just think about it in English. So I live in America and I speak Chinese. Can I practice Chinese here easily? No. I can find people. I have friends. I can go to a restaurant and practice Chinese. But is it easy for me to practice Chinese here? No, of course it's not. But I practice Chinese a lot. How? Just by thinking all day in that language. So just what I want you to do is I just want you to think about how much do you think in English every day? If you have your whole day, what percent of your day is in English in your mind? 10%, 20%, 50%? Think about that. Think about that. And I want you to start pushing yourself to try to use English more in your mind every day. If tomorrow you can do 10 minutes in English, the next day try to do 20 minutes or 30 minutes of just walking around, doing your normal day, nothing special, taking care of your kids, making breakfast, but just think about that stuff in English. Okay? Right. And the more you can do that, that's the secret of language. The word fluent, everybody likes that word, but the thing about that word is it's so hard to define. What does it mean? How many words do you need to know to be fluent? How much grammar do you need to know to be fluent? It's not about that. Whoop! Oh, did I lose you?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So what I was just saying is just that the secret of any language is that you can practice language without going anywhere. You just have to learn how to think in that language. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. No. They never tell you anything about thinking in the language, but they tell you there are 4 parts of language: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Those are the 4 parts of physical language. But there's another part of language, mental language. And that's the most important part, because if you don't have good mental language, how can you have good physical language? Right? So,
Yes.
my definition of the word fluent is if your mental language is strong, then your physical language will be strong. My definition of fluent means how well can you use your mental language? If you can use it well, then you're fluent. If you can't think in that language, then you're not fluent. Okay, so to me, language is about thinking. Language is about thinking. If you can think well in that language, then you can speak and write and read and listen well. Okay?
Yes.
That is the secret of language. So, and yes, let me give you one more tip because you have children. The best way to practice is to teach. When you teach someone, you have to explain what you know. So it's really good practice for you. So you have 2 kids, teach them what you know. Teach them what you know. That's great practice for you, and your children will see that English is important to you. And that will be important to them. Okay?
All right. Well, I have tried to teach my girl, but I think that I don't know where to start because
Don't teach seriously. Teach simply. So, when she's eating food, teach her the name of that food in English. When she's playing, teach her the name of that game in English. When she's, so if she loves to eat something, right? If you make something and she says, oh, delicioso, then you can say, delicious. Just get some connections. Don't teach her. Just always make connections, English connections. So whenever she's doing something and she's enjoying it, make an English connection, right? If she likes some food, teach her a word about that in English. If she likes a game, teach her a word about that in English. If she's trying to describe some feeling she has, try to teach her how to say that in English. So whatever it is that she is trying to express, see if you can give her a few words in English sometimes. And try to think of those really easy words like delicious, delicioso. Oh, that's easy. Like I can remember that one. That one's no problem, right? So start with those simple ones, right? Like when I learned Encantada, I was like, oh, enchanted. All right, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that, right? So start with just simple things. And remember that teaching doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to force your child to sit down with a book and write a bunch of stuff. Teaching is just about making connections. So whenever you see they are enjoying something, see if you can make a little connection to that with English. That's the secret. If you force it on them, then it feels like punishment, and learning should never feel like punishment. Okay?
Yes.
So, Nat, do you have any questions for me or anything you would like to say?
No, just thank you for letting me participate.
You're welcome. And again, your English is quite good. So make sure, remember that, everybody, confidence is so important in language. And many of you, I think most of you, you probably think your English is not as good as it really is. Almost everyone that I talk to, they think their language is not as good as it really is. So that's good because confidence is so important to language. So I want to give you that confidence and tell you your English is good. So don't worry. I'm a native speaker and I'm a teacher. So I can tell you that you speak well. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Great, Nat. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time. Okay?
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Which one has more priority in learning a language, speaking or writing? Reza, when you're learning a language or learning anything, it doesn't really matter what you're learning. Your focus should be on your weaknesses. And those are going to be different for every person. So maybe if your weakness is speaking, then you should work on speaking. If your weakness is writing, then you should work on writing. But it's different for different people. Okay? Oh, wow. Okay, Zilan Milan, Guten Tag. Is there a problem? Am I doing something wrong? What do you call oil for frying? Is there a specific word? No. We call it oil. We have different oils that we use for different things, but usually we use vegetable oil or canola oil for frying. Sometimes we use peanut oil, but it depends on the person. Some people use olive but no. In general, we just say we're going to fry something in oil. Okay? Sometimes we use the word grease, but not often, Young. When we use grease, we talk about bacon grease. Yeah. But in cooking, we usually talk about oil when we're talking about grease is the word we usually use when we talk about the taste. It tastes greasy. But when we're cooking, we usually use the word oil or fat when we're talking about the ingredient used to cook something in. Yeah, cooking oil. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Shahab wants to know the dates of my lives. Everybody, I don't have a very solid schedule right now. I'm a very busy person, so I try to be here as much as I can. But if you like my live streams, then just click the follow button and then try to be here when you can be here, okay? I have about 54,000 followers here. And I'm serious about what I do. That's why I have 54,000 followers. Okay, so I try to be here as much as I can, but I can't give you a schedule right now because I'm just too busy. All right? If I start making some money, then maybe I'll have a schedule. All right? Can I help you with questions for an interview? What kind of interview? Job interview? What is not fun? Me? Okay, Shahab. Well, then if you followed, then good. I try to be here as much as I can, Shahab, for about 1 year on Hello Talk. For about 1 year. The first year I was here, I was doing about 10 live streams a week. But that's a lot. That's too much. So now I am doing less. Okay. Now I do about 3 to 5, maybe 7 a week. You can't distinguish can and can't. Can and can't. Yoshin, If you can't distinguish can and can't, then you should just do what Americans do. If I don't know what you said, then I will look at you and I will say, I'm sorry, did you say can or can't? Ali, look at me. Turn your phone. Turn your phone. If you turn your phone, then I will be in the center. Okay, so I need to go because I need to go eat some lunch and I need to work on my book. Before I go, I would like to ask one simple question. Maybe it's not a good idea, but I'm going to go ahead and ask. Would you like to tell me how to... Hold on, let me think about my words. If you have watched my live streams many times, if you have any suggestions for me, what would you suggest for me? Are there any things that you would like to have me do differently? I do my best every time. I do. But I'm a human being and I'm not perfect, and sometimes I'm just not that I'm not in a very good mood some days. Marlena says more grammar. Okay. Marlena, I don't do a lot of grammar on purpose because, one, I don't like it. Nobody likes grammar, right? So I don't do a lot of grammar, one, because I don't really like it, but also because there are already so many people on Hello Talk and online that teach grammar. There are already so many people that teach grammar that I feel like I don't need to do that, you know? So I hope you understand that, Marlena. Like, I will answer grammar questions, but I don't usually teach an entire class about any grammar topics. Not usually. Okay? I try to focus on non-grammar based aspects of language because there are so many people that do grammar. What's the difference between academic and general learning of languages? Well, Reza, academic language has a whole different set of vocabulary and sometimes even a more refined set of grammar rules. Academic language is more strict. Academic language is more formalized. Yeah, there are more rules to academic language compared to general language. Okay? Do I have any blogs? Nope. No, have never done a blog. Involve more people. Okay, so on some of my live streams, I do invite people up on the stage and talk with them, but I don't do it on every live stream. So I have an idea about that. I think what I'm going to do, I'll fix this for next time. If I am doing a live stream where you can raise your hand and come on the stage, then I am going to add a frame. Let me see. Can I do that now? Let me see if I can do that now. Hold on a minute. How can I do that? Where are the effects? There they are. Borders. So maybe if I add a... So I'm going to add some kind of a frame, right? And if you see that frame, then you'll know that that's a class that you can raise your hand and come on the stage. But if you see a different frame, then it's going to be, you know, like maybe a red frame means no coming on the stage and a green frame means raise your hand. Okay? But I have thought about that. I want to make it more clear. I do invite people on the stage, but not every time. Okay? Book club for one day. Calsum, yeah, I did used to do a reading hour. I used to do a reading hour, or half an hour. I used to do a 30 minutes where I would read from an English book every week. So I'll think about bringing that live stream back. A book or reading live stream. I like the idea of a book club. That might be fun. Thank you, Belen. Gabby says, my main problem is translating everything. Grammar is very difficult. Yeah, but grammar, you know, the great thing about grammar in the real world, everyone hates grammar. So no one really cares as much as you think they do. Okay. Patricia wants to know, is there anything I can recommend for people who freeze when you speak in English? Yes, Patricia, you need to relax. It's all about being confident and relaxed. You freeze because you're not relaxed and you're not confident. You freeze because your language is not right there ready to use. Patricia, if you learn how to think in English, then your language will be more ready to use. Then when you need to speak, the language is right there, and you can just grab those words and say them. But if you don't practice thinking in English, then when you go to speak in English, you first have to think in Spanish and then translate, and that takes too long, and then you get nervous, and then you freeze. Okay? Calsum said, I noticed you just bring one person on the stage, but if you make it 3, you can make it a discussion. Yes, and I wish I could do that, Calsum, but because there's a time limit for anybody who doesn't have a VIP, if you're not a VIP and I invite you on the stage, there's a time limit, like 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something, and I can't see the time limit. So I have no way to know how long each person has on the stage. So now I only bring up one person at a time. I know. Anna says, in my country, the school teaches grammar a lot. Yeah, I know they do. But, Anna, do you know many people that speak English well? Probably not. It's because they focus on grammar too much. It's like, Anna, it's like they're trying to teach you how to drive a car, but they never let you drive the car. They just give you a book and they tell you about driving a car. They tell you about the engine. They tell you how the engine works. That's grammar. but English is not about grammar. English is about speaking and writing and reading and listening. So, yeah, that's the secret, not grammar. Reza wants me to talk about my schedule, what time we can talk with me. Okay, that's a good point, and it's something I've been thinking about. I am going to try to create a monthly schedule. Let me think about it. Let me have this weekend and let me create a monthly schedule for my live streams. I'm going to try to create a consistent schedule that you guys can count on, okay? It's really hard, but I'm going to try to do it. All right? Okay. Before I go, Psycho Ready says, give me some tricks to improve my English. Psycho, hi. You didn't introduce yourself to me yet, but fine. Here. There's my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel and you can watch all my videos. And there are many, many, many tips and tricks for learning English there. Ali, I'm not giving you the cold shoulder, Ali. I just need to go, my friend. It's 12 o'clock. It's time for me to go. I've just been trying to just wrap up and finish up my stream here. I've been on for about 2.5 hours. Okay. And, but I'll be back. I'll be back again at some point. Okay. I love India. I love, the earth. Is India on the earth? I think India is on the earth, isn't it? Last time I checked. I didn't prepare anything for lunch. I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch. I'll probably just make a simple sandwich today. I'm too busy. I don't have time to make something complicated. All right. So, yeah, once again, everybody, here is my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel and follow. There are many videos you can watch there. Many, 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 many. Okay, please follow me here and share. Also, I have about 54,000 followers on Hello Talk, but I need more. And I need more followers on YouTube too. So please make sure you follow the YouTube. All right. I'll be back on Saturday. I'm not here on Friday. I'm not here on Monday. Monday and Friday. Nope, I'm not here. But I'll be back on Saturday. Okay. Psycho Ready says, oh, you don't know about India. Oh, you're right, Psycho Ready. I definitely don't know about India. I don't know anything about India. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka da taka dimi, taka de taka ta. Namaste. Okay, I've had enough fun now. I've had enough fun. I'm going to go have lunch now. Goodbye, everyone. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Okay? I might come back later just to play some drums. But, hey, wait a minute. Let me tell you something. Sometimes when I turn on this camera, I'm playing drums, not teaching you English. And guess what? That's okay. I'm allowed to do anything I want when I turn on this camera. I don't have to do what you want me to do. I do what I do. Okay? So if you turn on this camera, if you turn on my live stream and you see me playing drums, don't complain that I'm not teaching you English. That's really rude. And you will make me mad. Okay? I will probably remove you. All right? All right. Can I play drums? Not right now, but maybe later. I think I'll probably come online and play drums for a little bit later on. Okay? Probably in a couple of hours, in an hour or two after lunch. Okay? All right, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for following. Yes, I'm starving. It's time for me to go. I'll see you guys next time. Okay? Bye-bye.